G'day. So today we're going to give you another steeling tip. So this will be number 3 in the series. This little tip was shown to me by the guys at Response Training. They specialise in meatworks training throughout the country. I'll put a link down in the bottom, check them guys out, but they showed me this tip and I thought it was fantastic quite some time back. So what we have is an old knife. It's just had a little hole drilled in the top of it and a pin pushed in the top of it. It's nice and straight and it's just been coloured red. Don't really need this, but it does help pick up the angle. So what we want to achieve is when we're steeling the knife, we need to keep the same angle that we stoned it all the way through. And when you do this little technique, you'll be surprised what your angles actually are. And it's a good way to have a look at what you're doing and do a bit of an adjustment. I know myself, we did this earlier and I was still going too high. So it doesn't hurt to do this every now and then just to check your angles and make sure and do that little bit of adjustment to get the best out of your knives and retain the edge the longest. So if you're going, it's very common when I walk around the rooms, people going way too high, often double steeling their knife what they should be, almost like they're sharpening a plane blade at 45 degrees. So we want to keep that, if you're using one of my sharpeners on 25 degrees, so we want that angle to be around that 22.5 or 25 degrees. And I know when I checked myself, I was 30 degrees on the bottom, so I needed to make that bit of adjustment. Often, if you're brand new to knife sharpening, it's a good idea to steel it So if you're brand new, just starting out, this is a good technique because you can see your angles all the way down. But if you're like me, you've already got a steeling technique. I actually steel it like this. It's best to stick with the way you're naturally doing it and just adjust from there rather than trying to learn a whole new way to do it. I know I did try to change to this way, but I wasn't very successful, and I tend to keep going back to my original way of steeling. So once we set the knife up, an old knife, just a pin in it, but as you'll see, you can do it without it, but this does just help see that angle. We need to install an app on your phone called Hudl Technique. I think the guys at UberSense come up with this app, and it's used for identifying technique issues with sporting. It's an American app, so they use it a lot for golf swings, baseball, and that sort of thing. But it is very good for looking at our technique, our steeling technique. So once you've installed that app, you just get somebody to come in and videotape you. Try and get the videotape as side on as we can, so then when we go to measure the angles, they'll be more accurate. So we've just got an assistant here, so I'm going to steel this knife and she's going to move around, try and get that as side on as we can. Okay, so then we get the app and we can do it in super slow-mo and measure them angles.
Righto, so we've opened up the app here, and we'll just start playing it and just pause it when we can get a good shot of that angle, and then we just get the little angle measurer and move it around so we've got a bit of an idea of what that angle is. We can see when I first started here we're pretty close to where we need to be, but when I go down to the bottom, the underneath, we can see way too high, so we need to drop that angle down a bit. So you just keep playing it and pausing it and just measuring it top and bottom or on each side, and just watch that angle as you go through, just to see whether you're maintaining the same angle right through. It's pretty common when you get towards the tip to raise the angle up higher, so we're trying to maintain the same angle right through. So clearly I'm a bit out of practice there, so now we've gone and shot it again after we've had a look that we're going too high, and been careful to make that adjustment, and we can see I'm a fair bit lower there on the top, and it's about spot on around that 25 degrees, and on the bottom also big improvement. So we're able to see where we were going wrong, make an adjustment, and maintaining that angle right through. So again on the top, after you do this a bit, you can pretty well eyeball where you're meant to be. You could see that was pretty good on top, and again you can see that on the bottom there it looks pretty good. Your fraction high, but yeah, about spot on.
Okay guys, so as you can see, there's a lot of advantages to this technique or this app. We can really diagnose issues, and even myself, a bit out of practice, and I started developing going too high on the bottom when I'm steeling it, so I had to make an adjustment there. So I think this really good for anybody out there using a knife, just to diagnose having issues, just to make them fine adjustments, and going forward, just so you're maintaining, watching yourself, so you're not starting to roll that knife as you come towards the tip, maintaining the angle all the way through the stroke, and not going too high or even too low. So you want to be as close to that angle that you're stoning it as you can get. So I'll put the name of this app down below, and if you think that was helpful, give us a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and we'll just keep this content coming. Thanks very much.